Okay, I want to look at this guy, Robert Costello. Now, of course, you know, Alina Habbo is out there. Trump really wants to testify. He doesn't want to testify. He wants to get out there and do a, just screaming his disapproval and putting out his crap and nonsense like he does at the rallies, like he does when he leaves the court and go on the attack, etc. But since he can't do it, he's got Costello. So he's got Costello up there, and Costello just, winds up pissing off the judge enough that the judge clears the courtroom, and Costello is about 2 seconds away from being admonished and taken off the stand totally. So I want to look at Costello. What can you tell me about Costello and Trump? And, why he's doing this, etc. Well, one thing that can give you a clue, he says that they're screwing with the most important man on the planet, basically, is what he said. Okay? So it looks like he's trying to angle, if Trump gets elected, for a big post in the cabinet. Okay? And he's really acting like a mob boss underling, going on the attack, etc. But let's see what it says. What can you tell me about Costello? Wow. Past. Okay. It's about his past with a foundation of conversations he's had in the past. Okay. When it comes to justice, law. Okay. So he's somebody that was a lawyer for white-collar crimes, for guess what? To defend the criminals. Okay. So it seems like maybe he's got an axe to grind with the Justice Department to begin with, because of his past. So going into it, we have a drift. So maybe things were not going really great for him. It may be a bit of a struggle with some things. And so he wants a victory. So he thinks that by doing this, that he can get moored somewhere, again, looking for some nice cushy spot in Trump's cabinet, if he can get him off and get him elected, because he wants something more secure. Creativity. Okay. The last part, we have creativity. Yeah, he's snaky, he's toxic, so he thinks that he can put something out there creatively and build on this, okay? So Trump can't get out there and up on the stand and say what he wants to, so Costello is going to do it. So let's look at these again. The foundation is conversations, things that he struggled with. Could be stuff that Trump is struggling with. And this guy is a snake. He can be very toxic. So you take my place on the stand. I can't do it, but you can do it, okay? So he's going to be a surrogate for Trump. Go on the stand. Why? Because justice in the center of it, he thinks he can have a victory on what he can build with this, okay? Because at the center, when we have the past, he's feeling a bit adrift, and so he can be very creative what he thought on the stand, and could get away with being very toxic and try to sway things when he was on the stand. But it didn't work that way, did it? The judge was not going to have one iota of it at all, and said, you will use the right decorum in my courthouse. You're not going to say strike it. You're not going to roll your eyes. You're not going to stare me down. So that's what Trump would have found out if he would have got on the stand, okay? His surrogate, they get up there, that wanted to be a mini Trump, found out that the judge was not going to play, okay? So let's go ahead and pull the cards, the tarot, and see what else it has to say about this Robert Costello debacle, what he was up to, etc. So going into it above it, we have this juggling this information. Underneath of it, when it came to truth, when it came to the court and what was going to be said, what was going to be done, thought he'd have some short-term luck with it, okay, and then he was going to move on, okay. But I think that moving on with it was the, not him because he's older. I think this has to do with the lawyers. They did not want him up there to testify. They tried to get him out there, but Trump was absolutely insistent that he was going to be up there and testify, okay? Trump runs everything when it comes to that. He tells them what they can say, what they can't, because, he's such a brilliant man when it comes to the law. He knows more than everyone, okay? So going into this, we have, the actions, the message about the actions that happened there. And he soon found out that he was tied up. He was not able to railroad things like he thought he'd be able to, get away with, being disrespectful to the court, because that's what Trump wants. Get up there, be as egregious, as nasty, as vilifying as you can. But he found out rapidly, the message was, we're not having that, okay? So going into it, they had discussed this before, okay? But what happened, he found out he was basically out in the cold when it came to putting forward their plan to disrupt the courts. Above it, now I think this is the judge, okay? He took control of that. When it came to the fishtails that this guy was going to put out there, okay? He overruled him and just said, you are out in the cold. We are not having this. We're not putting up with this. So the challenge was this, what they wanted to put out there, what Trump wanted to have put out there. We're going to keep this as the outcome. Above it, they charged through. Now, I think that this came in rapid succession as to what this guy was going to say, the foundation, where this was moved to, and then we're looking at what was crossing above it, the juggling of the situation, the short-term luck he thought he was going to have, and what's crossing it is the Repugly Ugly MAGA party and where it was going. But the outcome of all of this is this was a delusional effort on his part to think that this would aid in his situation, okay? But this was the MAGA thing, you know, above it. We're going to juggle this stuff when it comes to the truth, short-term luck. His lawyers were not having it. They weren't thrilled with this plan that, of course, Trump came up with, this brilliant plan. Well, if I can't be up there, Costello, you could take my place. You can get up there and be egregious and nasty in my place, and you can get away with it, okay? Well, unfortunately for him, he couldn't get away with it. He got tied up very quickly when it came to the fishtails and going forward, what he thought he was going to be able to do. Excuse me. Oh. Okay, so above it, we had the message about the action. The judge was not having it and took rapid control of the situation when it came to this Costello guy. He found out rapidly he was out in the cold when it came to introducing this new drama that he was going to put in, okay? Because the best laid plans by Trump and Costello, they found out they were out in the dark, okay? They were delusional. The scheme that they had by the night, that what they were going to do, wound up not working out at all, okay? They were trying to juggle the stuff, but underneath of it was the harsh light of truth. They thought they could have some short-term success. His lawyers were saying no, but you know, this is a MAGA, this Costello is a MAGA supporter 100% for Trump. And so they concocted this plan, which did not go well. Let's just say that. Rather than making his case better, it was a political stunt. Okay, yet again, another political stunt so that Trump can go in later and say the judge was so unfair and yada, 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 all the BS he's going to put out about it, okay? And try to score political points about how unfair all this is, it's a witch hunt, etc. The judge is against him from the beginning, and, you know, all the rest of the drama that he's going to try to put out there. And Costello, you know, trying to anchor him in a place in the good graces of Trump, only made a fool of himself, okay? So on that note, I'll leave that here. We'll see you online.